My friends, today is the day you are going to take a chance on yourself, and I'm going to show you how. Hello, my friends, and welcome to The Simple Sober Life. I am Joshua, and I help others make simple changes to create a life of awesome. Welcome, my friends, and thank you so much for joining me here today. If you're new here and haven't yet subscribed, please make sure to subscribe so you get notified each time I create a video. So there have been a number of times in my life where I've actually taken a chance on myself. And every time I have done it, even if I didn't succeed in the task that I was trying to achieve or in the thing that I was trying to create, I have always positively grown from it. And that's kind of what taking chances on yourself is all about. Growing and, learning new things, learning more about yourself, and really experiencing the world around you. One of the times that I took a chance, I was only 20 years old when I moved out of the house. I moved out of my parents' house and I moved across country to Los Angeles. I had never been there before in my entire life. I had a dream of becoming a Oscar-winning, Academy Award-winning actor, and I was going to do it. I would just like to thank the Academy for this award. You like me. You really, really like me. And so I took that chance, not knowing anyone, not ever experiencing the city, not really knowing what to expect. I just kind of jumped into it and went. And while I still haven't won my Academy Award, I grew so much through that experience. I really learned a lot about life and what life has to offer, and so much about what I'm capable of doing. And it was such a spectacular experience that no one will ever be able to take away from me. Another time that I took a major chance was falling in love. I grew up telling myself that love was primarily for weak people, weak-minded people, to have to depend on someone else, or, to give yourself up and allow yourself to be vulnerable to someone else. But when I actually opened myself up and took the chance on doing it, again, I became so much more fulfilled, and I learned so much about myself, about another human being, and about life in general. Recently, one of the major chances that I took upon myself was quitting drinking. I had fallen into such a downward trap that I was really stuck in the situation that I was in, and I was fully prepared to die that way. I was fully prepared to just drink myself to death and let that be the end of it. But when I actually took the chance and committed to, putting down the bottle, so many new things opened up for me, and I've been able to experience life in such a positive and such a rewarding fashion that it made the chance all worth it. And then I started The Simple Sober Life to help other people in sobriety achieve what they would consider their life of awesome through various aspects of finance and health and employment and relationships and things like that. And there's always some risk when taking a chance on yourself. In doing The Simple Sober Life, I really opened myself up to being vulnerable and to being criticized. And in some fashion, I have been. I've been criticized on a number of times for, starting this operation and starting this business and allowing myself to be vulnerable. But then I also face the risk of complete and utter failure. You know, at the very bottom of it, this is a business that I am building, and I do want to eventually, receive a profit from it through various aspects. And so I'm always running the risk of completely falling on my face and going completely broke over it. But these are risks, and these are chances that I'm taking on myself to help me grow and to ultimately create the impact on the world that I hope to achieve someday. So here are a couple of tips if you kind of struggle with taking a chance on yourself that you're going to get a lot of value out of. So there are generally about two types of people in this world when it comes to taking chances. There are the very reserved people. These are the people who kind of tip their toe in the water. They want to see and check out the temperature. They kind of want to make sure everything's all planned out. They want to have lists upon lists of what they need to do, and they want to have pros and cons lists, and they want to have everything mapped out before they get started. And then there are the people who jump in full force. They take a nosedive right into the chance that they want to take on themselves, and they go full force into it. Now, I would have to consider myself the latter. When I get an idea in my head, I springboard right into that idea, and I figure that plans will come later. Now, there are definitely pros and cons to this way of thinking. In jumping in, I waste a lot of time, kind of spinning my wheels. I'm gonna do this, and 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 I'm gonna do this, without having a structured plan behind it. And, but on the other hand, I actually get into action right away. I'm not sitting around, making every single little detail about what I'm gonna do. I get in and I do it. And then, as I'm working through it, I'm making mistakes and, having successes. I'm finding out what works and what doesn't work, and, kind of evolving around that. Now, for the other type of person, the person who likes to tip their toe in the water and things like that, there, of course, are pros and cons. You spend a lot of time planning and analyzing and evaluating and trying to lay out every single consequence and every single, how's this gonna go? And so actually getting into action seems to be a lot harder for these types of people. And not to say one is better than the other, but it might be beneficial if we could all kind of conjoin these two types of ideas and, create one super type of person, one invincible, indestructible type of person. And so I'm trying to move more into that. So here recently I have, before I start an initiative, I've been laying out an outline of, things that I want to achieve, the steps that I want to achieve them in, and how, what the positives and negatives behind doing such an initiative could be. And I'm finding a lot more success, and I'm not wasting as much time figuring out things. I'm spending more time in actually being able to do things that achieve the results that I want to achieve. And so figuring out what type of person you are and, finding out a way to kind of conjoin the alternative to that will help you be more prepared and better equipped for taking chances on yourself. So after you have figured out what type of person you are, it might be a good idea to figure out what you want to do. What type of chance do you want to take on yourself? Do you want to quit your job, start your own business, or go after some other field altogether? Been there, done that. And it's an adventure for sure. Do you want to find love? Are you single and kind of in a position where you'd like to meet someone who to ultimately spend the rest of your life with and settle down? I'm kind of right there with you. I've been single for a number of years now, and now my mentality is stable enough. And, so I'm out there and I'm meeting new people and, putting myself out there in order to, potentially find a partner. Or do you want to get healthier? Hey, I'm right there with you as well. Every day I'm working and trying to get healthier. I'm eating better. I'm starting to incorporate physical activity and workouts. I'm actually in this challenge with a couple of guys at work where it's a weight loss challenge and there's money involved. So, I'm putting myself out there. I'm taking a chance on myself to actually improve my physical and mental well-being. So figure out exactly what it is you want to take a chance on. And, there's going to be risks, but there's going to be so many more rewards. So after you have figured out exactly what type of chance you want to take on yourself, now would be the perfect time to create that pros and cons list. Pros and cons to getting healthy. Pro, I'm not a fat slob anymore. Con, no more piles of nachos. And believe me, there are pros and cons to everything that you want to take a chance on. And in fact, in not taking a chance, there are pros and cons to that as well. So say you're in a job, it's not your favorite job, it's a mediocre job at best. You basically go in, you put your hours, and you collect your paycheck. There are definitely pros to that. There is at least some sort of stability there. You're able to pay your bills. You're able to, keep the lights on and food on the table. It makes the family happy that, you're able to provide for them. But then there are cons as well. It eats up a lot of time that you could be doing something that you really, really enjoy. And so what are the pros and cons of staying at your job versus, quitting and pursuing something else? Now, in all reality, just up and quitting a job to start something new probably isn't the best scenario to be in unless you have a trust fund or unless you have an influx of cash coming in from somewhere. Right now, I'm still working my job 5 days a week, and in my spare time I'm building up the Simple Sober Life. So I'm taking a chance on building up this business with the intention of eventually being able to leave that job. And for me, the pros of having my own business and building my own company far outweigh the stability of having a very secure job. If you're wanting to find love, there are definitely pros and cons to that. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of a loner. I'm kind of isolating. I'm kind of introverted. I love coming home and being able to, just do my thing. But on the other hand, I would love to, be able to share those things with someone else. And so the pros of being alone are I can spend my time how I want, when I want, where I want. I don't have to really take anyone else into consideration. It can be all about me, me, me. And you know, I'm pretty selfish way down deep. And you know, that was a hard thing to come to realize. And you know, that was another thing that being in love actually taught me. You know, it's fun to actually let the selfishness go a little bit and think of someone else. And so, you know, the pros of being with someone else is you actually get to share and interact with someone. And this doesn't have to be a romantic thing. This could be like friendships or, you know, business acquaintances, you know, any types of relationships where you actually have to share thoughts and ideas and emotion with other people. If you want to get healthier, there are definitely pros and cons to that. I mean, you know, I would love to be able to go out right now, eat a big plate of nachos, a large pizza, and, you know, a big stack and burger, and then sit on the sofa and watch Netflix. But that isn't going to get me my goal. You know, but some of the positives, some of the pros of getting healthier is, you know, I look in the mirror and I feel good about myself. My mental state is a little more clear. My bones aren't aching, my joints aren't hurting, you know, I've actually got energy, you know. So weigh out the pros and cons of what you want to do and figure out which weighs more. Hopefully the pros will weigh out more. If they don't, then it's probably not a chance that you want to take on yourself. All right, my friends, if you are truly ready to take a chance on yourself, then this next tip is going to be monumental for you. And it could be a huge hurdle like it was for me. And that is getting over the fear of disappointment and failure. That is a huge obstacle to tackle, and it won't happen all at once. You know, it takes small little strides, continuous little strides in order to be able to conquer that fear. And even after years of practice, that disappointment, that fear really creeps up. It's always waiting. It's kind of like alcohol in a way, you know, it's always waiting in the wings to kind of plague your mind with doubt and with notions that you can't do it, that you're not good enough, and you're gonna fail. You've always got that voice in the back of your head. But if you can extinguish that voice, there is no end to where you can get. There is nothing that you could not accomplish if you can get over that fear of disappointment, that little voice, and failure. Get over it. You know, when I was in LA, you know, I moved to LA, I fully expected to be walking down the street one day on my way to work, backpack on. I was walking in the streets of Burbank. I fully expected Steven Spielberg to drive up in a limo, see me, be like, "You are perfect for my movie," and cast me as the leading role in his next film, for which I would win an Oscar and I would be victorious! Imagine my disappointment when it didn't happen like that. It didn't happen like that. I had to act like everyone else in the cattle call. I had to go into audition. And every time I would go into an audition and not receive a phone call back, disappointment. And it was constant disappointment, over and over and over. You know, you go into an audition, you feel great about it, and you hear nothing back. That is disappointment. Just this week, I had some disappointment. You know, I'm all ready to get a car, something a little more reliable. I built up my financial bearings so that I can put some money down on it. I go in, test drive this car, you know, it's not my ideal car, but it'll work. You know, go in, financing is great. You know, I can afford the payments, down payments, got it covered. And then it came to insurance. And because I have, you know, a past, my insurance is outrageous. And, you know, once I got the quote from the insurance company at $365 a month, not gonna happen. Disappointment. But we had the opportunity to look at it a different way. We can turn that disappointment into a positive. Was that the exact car I wanted? No, it wasn't. It was something I was willing to settle for. And so rather than settling, what I can do is I can work to get some of those points off of my license and save up more money for a car so I don't have as big of a payment each month. But I had to get over that fear of disappointment and that fear of failure. In every single time, I decided to take a chance on myself. Next, my friends, and I am included in this, millennials get a bad rap. They get a bad rap because, you know, everyone thinks that they believe everything's going to be handed to them on a silver platter. You know, they feel entitled. They're owed everything in the world. And in some cases that might be true. But here's what we need to realize. No one is taking a chance on us until we take a chance on ourselves. That's the bottom line. When I started my digital marketing company, no one knew who I was. No one knew anything about me. And the only reason I was able to get my very first client, it was a restaurant on the verge of opening up into being a chain. And the only reason I was able to land that account was because I first took a chance on myself. I took a chance by leaving a company where I was making a weekly paycheck and doing what I wanted to do in life at the time and start my own company. I took that chance. And then I took the chance to actually put myself out there and start contacting clients, actually contacting people and putting my work out there, showing them what I was able to accomplish with my previous company. And you know what? I actually stole some of their clients because I had built up that relationship. I had put myself out there. I took a chance on myself. They believed in me because they saw my work ethic. They saw my personality. They saw what I could do. And I was able to achieve that. And it felt awesome. So until you take a chance on yourself, no one else will. Last but not least, my friends, you know, at the beginning of this video, I talked about two different types of people. The ones that like to plan it out, the ones who like to list out everything. There is definitely value in this. And if you want to be empowered and have the self-confidence to take a chance on yourself, make a plan. It doesn't have to be crazy detailed. It doesn't have to have every nuance involved, but make a plan of what you want to do, a quick outline of what you want to do, how you want to do it, take it step by step, and do it. Nothing gets done with thought alone. Unfortunately, I've lost my powers of telepathy. I've lost my powers of telekinesis. They're all gone. I swear I used to have them, at least in my dreams. But make a plan, take a chance on yourself, and do it. Even if you fail miserably, and I've done that so many times in my life, you will be rewarded for it because you will have the confidence and the courage to do it again. My friends, I hope you got value out of this. If you did, please make sure to comment down below. I would love to hear about a time you took a chance on yourself and what you got out of it. Whether you succeeded or failed doesn't matter. I would love to hear about that. Also, make sure to give this video a big old thumbs up and subscribe. Hit that bell when you subscribe so you get notified each time I create a video. And I'll talk to you soon. Cheers, my friends.